I've seen this question floating around the internet lately and even had a couple direct messages about it. So today I want to talk about, is it possible to make money as a gem cutter? It's that age-old question for anyone who's thinking about turning their hobby into a side hustle, or possibly even turning it into your main career path. So is it possible to make money out of gem cutting? I will skip directly to the end of this video. The answer is yes, of course. If you couldn't make money as a gem cutter, there would be no professional gem cutters. Yet, in my travels, I've met so many professional cutters in pretty much every major city that you can think of, whether we're talking about Europe, America, or Asia. But what if you don't live in one of these major cities, and what if you don't know how to cut gems, but you're just thinking about the possibility of stepping into something new? So this is an interesting question, and this is something that I speak about with my students constantly as they're coming in to take our faceting courses, because they're thinking about a variety of different paths ahead of them based on the experiences that they've seen around them in their community as well as online. Now, if you're living in the West, living in a major metropolitan area, your journey potentially is going to be a lot easier. You can easily find jewelers around you that have work that needs done. So if you already know how to cut gems and you're thinking about taking that next step or changing from hobby into something more professional, I would recommend the first place to start is your local community. It's not always necessarily Etsy, Instagram, your website, starting a web store. It could just be as simply as getting a box of stones together, 10 or 15 things that you've cut, things that you're proud of, things that you'd like to show off, and take them around to the jewelers in your neighborhood or your city. But now, what if you don't live in a major metropolitan area? What if you live in the middle of a random part of, let's say, America, for ease of reference? Just to make a very tangible example, let me choose something from my own history, my college town, Muncie, Indiana. So it's not on the coasts, it's in the middle of the Midwest, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, northeastern Indiana. It's a couple hours away from the capital city. It's about an hour away from the nearest big city. It's a small, rural college town. So let's do a little Google Maps search and see if you're living in Muncie, Indiana, which was once, I think in maybe the 1960s or so, labeled as the statistically most average city in America. I don't think it still is, but a good reference point for our video today. So go into Google Maps, type in your city. In my case, it's Muncie, Indiana. Once you can see your city on the map, just type in jeweler or jewelry store. So what pops up here? I can see already 5 or 6 different shops. We've got Murray's Jewelers, we've got America Jewelry and Loan, we've got Heidi J. Hale, we've got the Mason's Repair and Restore, Emmanuel Jewelers, Zales. Now I don't think Zales is going to be giving me stones to recut, but some of these mom and pop shops possibly could. Murray's Jewelers. This is a jeweler that I actually know. I didn't know them when I went to college, but I since have met them from time to time at the Tucson show or whatever. This is a perfect example of your target audience. You go to Murray's Jeweler in Muncie, Indiana, and you bring in your stones and you tell them, is it possible to talk to the manager of the shop? I'm a local gem cutter and I'd love to show you what I'm capable of. So you go in, you give them your sales pitch. Of course, you've got a business card. You don't try to make any sales. You just let them know, I'm available for recuts and repairs if you ever need it. Thank you. Go home. Now, if you're lucky enough to be in a small college town like Muncie, Indiana, that looks like it has 4 or 5 jewelry shops, and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of those jewelry shops will give you the time of day, return your call, then you're in luck. Most likely, you're the only gem cutter that they've ever met. If you're not living in Chicago or New York or Los Angeles or a place like that, it's possible that no gem cutter has ever come into this shop before. You are the first one, which means if you don't screw it up, you have unlimited potential for work. Now, why do I recommend this path specifically? If you know how to do recuts, there is an unlimited amount of work out there for you, for the local gem cutter who services their local community. If you've never worked with a jeweler or seen jewelry made before, you might be surprised to know that they potentially chip and break stones in their day-to-day or week-to-week process. In the process of setting the stone is a natural material. It has flaws, it has cracks, it has whatever, and also sometimes the jewelers just put a little bit too much pressure on it. Stones can chip, stones can break. But also, more often than not, stones come in with damage. Grandma's old stone that I just inherited that I'm going to rework for my engagement ring. I just inherited this from my mother. I just inherited this from my aunt or my uncle or whatever. People come in with jewelry and the stones just need to be refreshed. Sometimes it's just, I've been married for 50 years and this stone now needs refreshed. It's a sapphire or it's a tanzanite or whatever it is, and there's no more facets on the top. Or the table and the stars are completely abraded. Who's gonna do that repair work? There's no gem cutter in the shop, surely. So it has to be you. So if you put yourself into the situation where you can be their personal gem cutter, you're essentially on their team as an external company, an outsource that they can send work to, you will have enough work to sustain you. The more work that you do, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the more work that you'll get. Word of mouth will grow. And now, not only the jewelers in Muncie, Indiana are calling you, you also have the jewelers 30 miles away in Anderson and possibly even an hour away in Fort Wayne also calling you, because there's also no gem cutters up there. There's nobody up there who's not a hobbyist just doing weird precision work. There's nobody around to actually work for the trade. Who's gonna fix a broken stone? Who's gonna replace a specialty cut stone whenever it's fallen out of the setting and got lost? Now, if the stone comes in and it's a diamond, you're out of luck because you're probably not equipped, just as I'm not equipped, to do any diamond repairs. Those have to get sent out to a diamond polisher. But if it's a sapphire, if it's a ruby, if it's a tanzanite, if it's an emerald, if it's any of the precious or semi-precious, any colored stone at all, you can save the day. But now here's the problem. Maybe you've learned gem cutting through a lapidary club or Tom Herp's book, or just watching videos on the internet and talking on Facebook groups and forums and just figuring out for yourself. You've got an Ultratech or a Facetron, you're doing meat point technique, and you're pretty proud of the stones you're cutting. Really pretty, sparkly, dazzling stones. But you've never tried to recut. You've never even considered it. You don't even know how to take an already cut stone and properly put it onto the dop in order to get it ready for recutting. How are you going to approach this in order to be able to go into a jeweler's office and pitch yourself with confidence? This is where we come in with our online courses. So if you're at home with your whole studio and you already know how to cut but you don't know how to recut, we have a course for this. The course is called Recutting and Repolishing. We assume that you already know how to do all the fundamental work of faceting. Cutting, polishing, hand shaping, making outline shapes, adjusting your meat points, getting a perfect polish, but you need a little bit more skill in order to be able to take a stone that's already cut, put it on the dop the right way, orient it correctly, figure out what facets are already there, figure out what you need to do in order to do the repair, whether it means closing a window, reshaping the stone, or not reshaping the stone, not touching the girdle, and just fixing abrasions and chips and cracks. So if this sounds like you, go to facetingapprentice.com. We have a whole range of courses. If you don't know anything about cutting yet, then let this be your invitation into a world of learning. You can start right at the beginning with our Faceting 101 courses. But if you're already past that, you're already a competent cutter, recutting and repolishing is the course for you. Take the course. It's a few $100s. It's 5 hours of information. I'm going to walk you through all the steps of cutting, recutting, repolishing, repairing, and just talking about all the things that come up during the process of doing this kind of work. So the answer to the original question, is it possible to make money from gem cutting? First answer is a definite yes. If you can link up with your local jeweler and you have the skills to back your words up, you can potentially be getting several stones per week, if not several stones per day. Now, if you live in a bigger area, a more metropolitan, big city, the possibilities are endless. In a city like Chicago or New York or Los Angeles, there's hundreds, if not thousands of jewelers, and I know for sure Chicago, the city that I'm from, has no professional gem cutters in the city these days. The last gem cutter retired 2 years ago, so if you're living in Chicago and you're thinking about turning this into a profession, the possibility is seriously there. People there are now having to send their stones all the way to New York to get recut and repolished, which means The cost of shipping, the potential of getting lost in the mail, longer turnaround times, not being able to talk to the cutter face to face. So look at your local market, do some local research, start to introduce yourself if you're ready. If you're not ready, get there first. Don't waste the jeweler's time if you have nothing to show them yet, but figure out what's your hourly rate. What's fair for you? If you can do a repair or repolish in an hour or two, how much money do you need to make off that if you only have 1 stone a week or 2 stones a week? And then as you get more stones, let's say you get 1 stone every day, 5 days a week, or even 2. If you can make $100 or $200 a day, that's more than most people in Muncie, Indiana are making at whatever jobs they're doing right now. So the possibility is very realistic. The skill set is very attainable. And if you've already got your whole machine and studio and lap setup going, all you need to do is add a little bit more to your cutter's toolbox, recutting, repolishing, repairing. Now, if you want to go even deeper than what our online courses are offering, we also have a 1-week advanced cutting workshop, which is not pitched as a recutting class, because we cover recutting in our faceting boot camp. This is a class that's dedicated at improvising. So how to take a stone where you don't know the pattern and completely rework it. How do you take a broken stone that's completely broken in half, reshape it, and invent a new pattern with no diagram? How do you know where to put the indexes? How do you know how to figure out the angles? So if you want to go above and beyond our 5-hour recutting course that we have on Faceting Apprentice, come and check us out in Brooklyn, or come and check us out in Lyon, France. We've got the 5-day advanced course. It's going to take you so deep into the world of geometry, recuttings, the science of gem cutting, repairs, broken stones, and so much more. You're going to be able to start your business so easily after that. And slowly but surely, as people start to trust you and give you bigger and more expensive stones, other jewelers are going to hear about it. Meanwhile, you should be working on your Instagram, showing every time you do a recut, how much weight do you lose? What's the before and after look like? How are you improving the beauty? So you're developing your local network, you're developing your national and international network on social media, and your Instagram account or your website where you're showing these before and afters with the beauty makeovers and the weight loss percentages is also your portfolio. So when you go into a new jewelry shop where you haven't met them before, not only do you have this little box of stones that you can show, you can say, hey, look at all these recuts I've done. Check out the before and after. Look how I'm only losing 3% or 5% on these recuts, or 10 or 20% on these full recuts where I close the window. That's pretty cool, right? And they will be like, yes, we are looking for you. So be that person for your local community, become the recutter, become the repolisher, become the repairer, and you can save the jeweler's day and make all these heirloom pieces that have to get reworked into something beautiful, special, spectacular. And then if all that goes well, maybe eventually they're going to start commissioning you to cut stones for them or buying stones straight out of your inventory, so you don't even have to sell them online. You have a network growing right around where you live. So hopefully this video has given you some ideas about what you need to do and how you possibly can do it. I definitely recommend checking out some of our Faceting Apprentice classes, whether it's the online recutting and repairing class or our in-person advanced cutting workshop. Check them out, and check out some of my other videos that I'm going to link here at the end, where I'm talking to professional cutters about what it takes for them to go through their working day. Or check out some of my Patreon exclusive podcasts where I interview a new person in the jewelry trade every 2 weeks, whether that being a cutter, a jeweler, a gemologist, or somebody else, something relevant to the world of gem cutting, and inspire you and give you some ideas about where to take your business next. Good luck with your cutting. Thanks for joining me, and if you want to help support this channel, check out the Patreon link below, get access to our podcasts, and help support the channel. This has been Justin K. Prim with the Gem Cutter's Craft. Hopefully I'll see you in one of our upcoming courses, or just right here on YouTube. Until then, see you next time.